Imagine a young Czech man whose greatest dream was to design beautiful parks and gardens. Fate took him thousands of kilometers from his homeland to Central Asia, where he will dedicate his life to transforming the landscape of Tashkent, Samarkand, and many other cities. Today, few people know his name, yet his work continues to shape Uzbekistan's urban environment. This is a remarkable story of Jaroslav Karlovich Haazenkopf, a Czech agronomist, landscape architect, and visionary whose legacy lives on through the green spaces he created. Jaroslav Haazenkopf was born on October 2, 1888, in the village of Brezové Hory, near the mining town of Pribram, in what is now the Czech Republic. He grew up in a large farming family with 5 brothers, where hard work and close connection to nature became part of everyday life. After completing secondary school, he enrolled at the Agricultural Academy in the town of Tabor, specializing in landscape and garden architecture. His exceptional talent quickly became evident. Upon graduating in 1912, Haazenkopf ranked among the Academy's top 3 students. As a reward, he received a prestigious 2-year scholarship to study abroad. During his journey, he visited Germany and Austria, France, exploring Europe's finest parks, botanical gardens, and urban landscaping techniques. But gardening was only one of his passions. He was also a gifted musician, trained as both a violinist and cellist. Blessed with the perfect pitch, alongside music, he devoted himself to artistic gymnastics and believed that both physical fitness and culture were an essential part of a meaningful life. Then history intervened. When the First World War broke out in 1914, Haazenkopf was drafted into the Austro-Hungarian army. Because of his musical education, he served as a military bandmaster rather than a frontline soldier. His unit was eventually sent to the Eastern Front. In 1917, amid the chaos of war and revolution, he and his military unit voluntarily joined the Russian side as a decision that will change the course of his life forever. In early 1918, the new Soviet government offered the young specialist a position in Central Asia, where qualified landscape architects were desperately needed. Haazenkopf accepted. That spring, he arrived in Tashkent. He first worked as an agronomist for a food committee before being appointed in 1990 as the director of the botanical garden at the Central Asian State University. It was here that his life's greatest work truly began. The same year, he married Nadezhda Gavrilovna, a Russian woman. In 1921, shortly after the birth of their son, the family returned to Czechoslovakia, back in Prague. Haazenkopf joined the city's municipal administration, working as a landscape planning and public gardens. However, his stay in Europe proved too brief. In 1923, the Soviet People's Commissariat of Agriculture invited him back to Tashkent, remembering the outstanding work he had already accomplished there. He accepted Soviet citizenship, and in 1924, the family returned permanently to Uzbekistan. It will become his true home. In 1925, Jaroslav Haazenkopf was appointed chief city agronomist of Tashkent. Over the following decade, he played a leading role in designing parks, public gardens, 3-lined boulevards, and green avenues throughout the city. His expertise was also sought in Samarkand and many other cities across Central Asia. As Tashkent expanded rapidly during the 1930s, Haazenkopf became part of the city's General Planning Bureau, working alongside prominent Soviet architects to shape the capital's future. His responsibility was landscape architecture. Every new neighborhood required parks, shared streets, and carefully planned green spaces that could improve the life in Central Asia's hot climate. Later, he joined the team responsible for developing Tashkent's master plan, overseeing the city's entire landscaping strategy. Colleagues remembered him as a meticulous perfectionist. He spent countless hours at his drawing board, producing elegant plans and watercolor illustration with a pen and ink. His projects combined technical precision with artistic beauty, yet work was only one side of his life. His home became a gathering place for musicians and artists. Friends frequently meet there to perform chambers music, discuss culture and enjoy evening filled with classical compositions. He especially loved opera and symphonic concerts. Another passion was puppetry. From Czechoslovakia, he had brought an entire collection of handcrafted marionettes representing characters from traditional fairy tales. Every Sunday, neighborhood children gathered in his courtyard to watch puppet performance. Many of those children remember the shows throughout their lives as one of the happiest memories of their childhood. Sport also remained close to his heart. He built simple sports grounds where local children learned volleyball and gymnastics under his guidance. He believed that healthy communities grew not only through parks and gardens, but also through education, culture, and physical activities. But like countless talented professionals of his generation, Haazenkopf faced tragedy. During the political purges of the late 1930s, he was unjustly repressed. A year later, he was officially rehabilitated, his innocence fully acknowledged. Despite everything, he returned to the profession he loved. In his final years, he worked at the educational nursery of the Tashkent Green Construction Trust, continuing to design parks, streets, and public gardens. His colleagues praised him as an outstanding designer whose work was distinguished by extraordinary precision, professionalism, and dedication. Even after leaving senior government position, he remained one of the Tashkent's most respected landscape architects. Jaroslav Karlovich Haazenkopf passed away in Tashkent on October 7, 1944, at the age of 56. His greatest legacy was not a single building or monument. It was an idea that cities became healthy, more beautiful, and more human when nature is woven into everyday life. The parks, three-lined avenues, and landscape public spaces he helped create became part of Uzbekistan architectural heritage. His son later remembered him as an exceptionally honest, talented, kind, and devoted father whose greatest passion was improving the world around him. History often remember generals, politicians, and rulers. Yet behind every beautiful city stands people whose names are rarely known. Jaroslav Karlovich Haazenkopf was one of them, a Czech landscape architect who crossed continents and devoted his life to making Uzbekistan greener, more beautiful, and more welcoming for generations to come. Thanks again.